We have KeyShawn Hall, Amari Kelly, Coach Skinn, if you want to make an opening statement.
Yeah, I was a little terrified watching Austin Peay on tape, both in their exhibition game against Tennessee Tech, and then also in their first game against Life University. Defending the three was something that I knew if we gave them any type of confidence, it was going to end up being a barn burner. But these guys were locked in yesterday. They were locked in the last two practices, really, and they paid attention to the assignment, and we really set the tone in the first time out. And I think that just kind of corralled us through the course of the game. So I'm happy with our effort. I'd like to eliminate the second half, but at the end of the day, I can't be too greedy, so I'll take it.
Questions for the student athletes, please?
Hey, KeyShawn, it seems like you have a nose for the ball on the boards. Is it a situation where you know your angles? Is it just hustle? What provides you with that sort of efficiency that you have with your rebounding?
I mean, yeah, I would say it's angles and just having a motor, just going after it, just having a nose for it, because I never used to rebound as much, and I made that a goal, rebound harder this year. So that was one of my biggest things.
And Amari, it seems like you got off to a quick start and got comfortable. What was it like out there, and what was working for you?
They were giving me the ball early and just being aggressive. I was able to get to the line, and I saw that. I knew I had a mismatch, so I was just trying to take advantage of that. But yeah, they got me the ball early. I just kind of got comfortable early. So.
Yeah, Mark, talking about that early on, you got yourself to the free throw line, you drew 5 fouls tonight. Was it just a matter of you felt like you had an advantage down the post and go ahead and get it started that way?
Yeah, basically. So last year I wasn't getting to the line as much, so that was kind of a goal of mine coming in, just starting to get to the line. That's easy points, and like you said, it was a mismatch, so why not just go at it?
Amari, this is back-to-back games of double-digit points. Is there something within this offense that allows you to get more points than, let's say, the last couple of years?
Just more touches and my teammates trusting me, finding me in the right spot, and yeah, that's basically it.
Anything else for the student athletes? Okay, thank you. Thank you both.
Good job, boys. Get used to being in here, huh?
Yeah, man. See y'all next week.
Hey, Coach, in their opener, they did look so comfortable on offense, and tonight they looked incredibly uncomfortable. What was it that was in the game plan that you want to accomplish that really, really made them struggle a bit?
Yeah, again, I think this early in the season, there's always so many different parts of a season. This part of the season is really just about having the freedom to compete against other people. And, these guys, again, they've been going at each other for so long, and I think they understood the assignment just from the standpoint of we watched so much film on Austin Peay, and I think the film terrified them. Watching one guy take 21 threes, another guy take 10 threes, if those guys get hot, then it's a completely different type of ball game. But we've also locked in on just kind of watching college basketball in general. I think personally the days of thinking, an opponent's not going to come in there and give you your best, I think those days are over. And I think these guys understood that because we watched different scores, we put different outcomes up on the board. And I think these guys understood that any different night, any different team, they can come in here and get a W. And so these guys really locked in, and I was just, pretty glad with their effort.
And you, for a brief moment, it wasn't that long, but you had Okoje and Polite in together. Was that something that you're looking to do more? Was it a matchup thing?
You ain't been watching the last couple games we played. Those two guys they're kind of like the yin and yang of my offense. Ronald Polite plays at his pace, and Baraka plays at his pace, but I think they work pretty well in tandem just because of our offense. I would love to see those guys on the floor a lot more, but at the end of the day, it's going to be a different guy. It's going to require a different guy every single night. Not Darius Maddox was 1 for 4 and had 2 points. If I was a betting man, I would say we would not win this game by 22 points if he has an off night like that. But credit to those two guys. They've been playing together in practice a lot, so there's a little bit of a sync with those two, but you'll definitely see those two guys on the floor together.
I know you said you'd like to forget the second half, but talk about a little bit of the maturity of your team to race out to that big of a lead. And in the second half, in the first half, not really look like the guy or a character. It looked like they were still locked in, even though the score was what it was.
Yeah, again, those guys paid attention because we knew with the way that they junk it up defensively, there was just so many different gaps that we saw during the week in prepping for them. And I just told those guys, man, like, this is not the game to think you're not going to get open shots. And as you see, we got off to an early start and got hot. Austin Peay had when I tell you he had a hell of a week, he didn't miss. And so I knew in the back of my mind I wanted to put him in the game. And I'm just happy for him because he went in there and made one and just kind of set the tone, really, and just gave us energy. So I'm happy with his, obviously his minutes tonight. And I'm happy with all these guys. It's very spread out. Nobody played over 25 minutes. It's seldom that you see that, but that great start got off to a start, and it gave us a chance to get some other guys some minutes.
Tony, talking about ball, obviously you just kind of answered that it was his week of practice rather than them playing that zone. I wasn't sure if in that moment you said, hey, let's get a shooter in there, because he didn't play against Monmouth, but it sounds like it was just his work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
No, it's been a combination of both. Obviously, game planning wise, you want to spread them out with their defense the way that they're playing, and you want to have some shooters out there. And so he was probably going to get in the game, but he got an extra push just because he's had just a tremendous week. Again, you talk about a kid that, he's high energy. He deserved the minutes, and I'm just glad for him that he was able to go out there. I was mad at him. I said, you should be the best three-point shooter in the country. You finally got in the game. You went 2 for 2. Then you started feeling yourself and took an off-the-dribble three. That's not really you right now. You should be 100% and the best shooter on paper, but I'm just happy for him.
Friday night, second time now, we've had pretty good student turnout. Talk about how they kind of pushed you guys there in that first half.
Yeah, no, the energy's been awesome. The energy's been awesome. And again, I'll keep on saying that I'm trying not to live in prehistoric times about the student section and what it did for myself and my teammates back in the day. But I'm just challenging everybody to just come check us out. I think this team is very, very exciting. They're fun to watch. And I expect, this thing to continue to grow because I really do believe if we can get that type of an atmosphere, it's only going to push our guys even harder to play, the way that they've been playing.
Coach, I have to ask, you have a water bottle with your name on it. Are people stealing your drink or what's going on?
The honest truth is I love coconut water.
Oh, okay.
And I know against Monmouth, they gave me the actual coconut water. And I just wasn't sure if, for whatever reason, patent-wise, I was allowed. So I told them, put my coconut water in the bottle of water. So
That's a good bit. I'm curious, last game I asked you about KeyShawn Hall's rebounding. You kind of joked about him needing some offensive rebounds. Tonight he goes out and gets 2. What can you say about just his relentlessness on the glass? He seems like it's impressed me.
KeyShawn he's a point forward. He's as skilled as they come. That's why when I took this job, he was one of my first phone calls. He's still learning. He's still growing, just like Darius is in his role. But there's some things you can teach and some things you can't. And he's just got a natural ability for just rebounding the basketball. Now we're just trying to challenge him. The same motor that you have defensively, you got to go after it on the glass. And I think, again, a guy that paid attention to the scout because, we had size over them. And so I just told him, like, we're going to miss some shots. But, my go guys, which he's a go guy, go to the glass. And he did that. And I'm glad that, he was able to pad his stats a little bit and have a pretty good game.
And then Maddox, what do you do on nights like this? Can you get him going in different ways? Or is it just going to sometimes, Kelly's the leading scorer, sometimes it's Hall. Is it just going to be like everybody eats, or do you want to get Maddox going?
No, his ability is always going to have him be a major part of this offense. But like I told these guys after the first game, the sign of a good team is going to require a different guy every night. And again, I'm just happy that, I don't see him having another game like this. This was a little bit of a different game. Again, they sat in that zone in the first half. It kind of junked it up. He's still learning in his role. I want him to be, one of our main guys. And so I told him today, I've never seen a guy that has the green light that doesn't know how open he is. And I think that's just part of growth. That's part of his development. And I think he'll continue to get better. He shoots it with the best of them. But a night that, you know, he didn't really feel it, he didn't force it either. So, you know, credit to him for just kind of just staying solid and finding other ways to affect the game. He got 5 rebounds and he was a plus 29. And so while he might not think he had a good game, he has something to do with that lead that we jumped in front of.
Anything else for Tony? Okay. Thank you, guys.